Welcome back to Weighing In. We're talking about the 220-pound weight class. This year's videos are sponsored by Rothman Orthopedic Institute. And at 220 pounds, the clear favorite gentleman, Zack Vecchio of South Plainfield. Missed the tournament last year. He was the favorite, missed it due to an illness. So what we're going to do, we're going to take Zack, we're going to save him for the end, and we're going to talk about what really is a completely wide open weight class behind him. So Joe, let's start with you. Let's talk about some contenders.
Well, I think looking at this weight class, fittingly, since we're going to be in Atlantic City, it's a roll of the dice. It's a crapshoot. It really is about, you know, which guys are going to be on the podium, because there's a whole lot of them. And two guys that I like, one is Zack Louis from Emerson Park Ridge. He's 34-1, and his only loss is to who else? Zack Vecchio. And a kid who really impressed me over the weekend in Region 6 is a big, strong football player from Bordentown, Florence, named Juwan Hayes. Enormously athletic and showed some great quickness on some single leg takedowns. He beat a kid who was unbeaten in the region final. And I think he could, you know, maybe be a surprise in the weight class, Mike.
Yeah, Bill, we turn to you. Really a wide open weight class behind Del Vecchio.
Yeah, the kid from South Jersey to keep an eye on is Tyreke Brown from Pennsgrove. Really small program, but you know, Brown's was a two-time All-State football player, wide receiver, played both ways. It was a really good linebacker too. Led Pennsgrove to a 13-0 season this year. Last year was fifth in the state, made the state semifinals, made a great run. You know, he's had another really good year. He probably hasn't faced some of the competition that some of these other guys have, but he's probably the most athletic guy in this weight class. And that lack of competition didn't hurt him at regions. He was most outstanding wrestler, dominated in the final there. And I really think he's a guy, you know, he's going to go in, he's going to let it all hang out. There's going to be no pressure, and he's got a chance to really make some noise.
Pat, we turn it to you. We're naming a number of contenders. Who are some guys you're looking at?
All right, if we're going to name contenders, you got to go to Newton High. Most state champions. History of wrestling goes through Newton. A guy who's had a great year is Luke Fisher, Hunter Warren Sussex champion. He's real tough on top. A guy that can get it done. Another guy I saw this past weekend in Region 3, Gage Armijo from Mendham. I know we're talking about football guys and athletic guys, and that's to me what Armijo is. He's a 220-pound quarterback, and believe it or not, he was a second in the country in 6th grade in cross country. So I mean, talk about athletic. He can do it all, and look for him on that podium too.
Yeah, the history of wrestling might go through Newton, but 220 pounds, that has to go through Zack Vecchio. Joe, we thought last year he was going to be a champion, but he wasn't able to make it to the tournament. This has to be his year.
Well, like I said in the intro, you know, when we saw this kid as a freshman, I don't think there's any one of us who didn't think he was going to be on the podium multiple times. And you know, last year he got sick and had to withdraw. But, you know, we talked about 3 contenders who were all football players and big and strong, and a couple of them are running backs. Well, there's nothing better to stop a running back than a linebacker. And that's exactly what Zack Vecchio is. That's how he wrestles. He charges at you, he wraps you up, and he throws you on your back. That's what he does. And, you know, I think when I saw Scott in the dual meet against Howell, he looked very sluggish. He didn't look like he was in the greatest shape in the world, but you know, from all indications, he has been very motivated the last couple of weeks, and it seems like, you know, for him that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And you know, I mean, it's a great wrestling family, and you know, for him to win one would really carry on that family's legacy, and you know, plus he's a good kid.
Bill, we turn to you. We're making our picks. Is Del Vecchio your pick at 220 pounds?
Yeah, I think so. I just said I do think Tyreke Brown is going to be a factor here and make a run, but I think this is Del Vecchio's weight class to win, and I think he will win it.
Pat, we turn to you. Del Vecchio?
Love Zack Vecchio, real strong, tough kid. Obviously, we talked about the family lineage. South Plainfield, just as much history as Newton, like you said.
Joe, finish us off. Are we talking Zack Vecchio as your champion at 220 pounds?
Is there an echo in here? I go Zack Vecchio as well.
That wraps up our preview of the 220-pound weight class. Keep it locked on NJ.com/HSWrestling. We'll have live video from all 3 days at Boardwalk Hall, every round of the boys and girls tournaments, plus results, brackets, photos, and more.